What a glorious morning. That is a quote from Sam Adams once he heard that the battle at Lexington began, which officially started the Revolutionary War. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today with the causes, the war itself, and the effects. So, the American Revolution, something to set the stage a little bit. At this point in time, you had England, France, and Spain all establishing settlements in North America. And what they used the American nations for was just mercantilism, for the raw resources they would buy and then sell back all the finished products and make a ton of money off of it. Another negative component of all the exploration was the growth of slavery and the triangular trade. The Enlightenment helped the idea of the revolution and all these new ideas about freedoms and how to shape society, the economy, and politics. And as a result of all this, of course, conflict arose. A couple causes: King George III and tyranny. King George, as you know, just overpowered the Americas, didn't want to let them become independent, said, "You are mine." And if you look at this political cartoon on the left here with mercantilism as well, you have the mother country there, and then you have the different colonies bringing stuff to the mother country. And that's what King George said. He said, "You guys are my country, and you do what I'm going to tell you to do. And if you don't, well, then we're going to have problems." And then the Americans were like, "Well, I guess we're going to have problems because we sure ain't going to do what you tell us to do anymore." And then third, you have a lot of different taxes, a lot of different acts, things like the Sugar Acts, the Tea Tax, Intolerable Acts, all the Townshend acts, and then also the Stamp Act. The Stamp Act, pictured down in the lower right-hand corner, that stamp had to be on all paper products. Anything essentially that was sold in the colonies had to have a stamp on it if it was a paper product, such as a newspaper, pamphlets, playing cards even. And if it didn't have a stamp, then you couldn't buy it. Or otherwise, it was considered illegal. Now, some of the first strikes of the war, without having officially started the war, were things like the Boston Massacre, which some people do say was the actual first shots of the war. What happened here, you had a bunch of colonists who were getting a little rowdy, got together with one another, and started to have a little bit too much fun. The British troops were dispersed and they were sent out, and they were trying to break up the fun a little bit and just monitor the situation. And that's when the colonists began to throw snowballs, ice chunks, and started to hit the British soldiers. So the British soldiers actually opened up fire, and that's what some say were the actual first shots. It actually killed 5 people in the American citizen crowd. Another thing was the Boston Tea Party in 1773. That is another act by the American colonists where they boarded one of the British ships and dumped 92,000 pounds of tea into the Boston harbor. And then, of course, you had the Declaration of Independence in 1776, which was, yes, after the First War, but also made the king even angrier and wanted to fight even more to keep hold of the American colonists.